You've made the decision to quit drinking, but your significant other, your spouse, they still drink. What do you do? It is a complex situation because it involves your sobriety, your relationship, as well as a complex emotional dynamic. In my relationship, my wife welcomed the idea of me quitting drinking, but it wasn't going to affect whether or not she drank. And we both had to sit down and talk about it. And it's very important that you do so, like any issue that you and your partner are facing. It's important to acknowledge the challenge and acknowledge your feelings. Obviously, it's a big challenge when you decide to quit drinking and your spouse is still going to drink. In my situation, I needed to quit drinking. I don't have any breaks. I wasn't wired with any breaks. I wasn't born with any breaks, and that's just how I've been my whole life. Now, my wife, on the other hand, she can actually have a few drinks and be okay there. She doesn't have to go balls to the wall like I did. So we were really on the same page when it came to my decision to quit drinking. But there's still a conversation to be had in terms of what your social interactions are going to look like going forward, right? There might be events that she still wants to go to and I sit out, or I might go for a little bit, but then I leave early. What's important is that you guys are both on the same page. From my perspective, I have to understand that even though I made the decision to quit drinking, that doesn't necessarily mean that she has to quit. She can still go on doing her things while I make the changes that are necessary for me. Now, when you do quit and your partner doesn't, it could lead to frustration. It could lead to resentment. It could lead to feeling left out. It could lead to even temptation, right? Because in your relationship, a lot of the times, a lot of the things you guys do together involve drinking. And I can speak to this because my wife and I, we've known each other since we were kids. And, we were always at the same party. We always gravitated towards each other. And even when we started dating, like a lot of the activities we did involved or were centered around drinking, whether that's parties, going out, going to concerts, camping. I mean, you name it, we were drinking. Obviously, more so me than her. But when things change and you're making the necessary changes, you can feel frustration that maybe your partner isn't making the same changes, or that you're struggling to make the change and you see them still being able to live a normal life and not have to struggle and make the changes you did. And that's perfectly normal, but you're gonna have to work through that individually and together. You're both going to have to understand that there will be situations where you don't both go to the same event because you have to protect your sobriety. Now, for me, I had to be okay with that and kind of get over that fear of missing out, that FOMO. And on my spouse's side, she's going to have to learn to be okay with going to certain events and being around other couples with that and they're with their spouses and I'm not there. Now that's tough for both sides, of course, but ultimately the end goal is my sobriety. And we've talked many times about this, and now we're on the same page. In the beginning it was a little difficult, especially for me, because I wanted to be there. I wanted to be with my friends. I wanted to be with her, hanging out, having a good time, but I know I just couldn't be in those situations. And so it's important, like anything in a relationship, is to have open and honest communication. It's essential, right? If there's a situation that I don't feel comfortable being in, then we talk about it and maybe I sit this one out. And that conversation we've had plenty of times. And it's got to the point where she knows, if there's an event coming up and it's a situation that, I don't want to partake in, she still offers to invite me, but she's also very understanding of, me not going if I don't want to. And that's all part of setting clear boundaries, right? You both have to be on the same page that if you guys are going to be in a setting where there's alcohol, or alcohol is the main attraction, let's say, then you guys are going to maybe have to handle that situation a little bit differently. Maybe you leave early. Maybe you both leave early together, and that's a sign of their support for you. Or maybe you're okay with them staying and you're leaving. But those boundaries should be set ahead of time. And that way there's no surprises. If you do decide to leave a situation, that you guys, there's no misunderstanding. So it's important to communicate with each other and set these healthy boundaries in order to protect your sobriety. And while it's important to have the support of your partner when you are going through your sobriety journey, it's important that you also have a support system outside of your relationship. And this could be local sobriety groups, a coach, AA, some sort of therapist. It's important to have an outlet to talk about your issues. And if you are having issues in your relationship, sometimes it's better to talk to someone outside of your relationship just to get a different opinion, or get a third party opinion, and then talk it over with your spouse. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're being genuine and truthful, and letting your spouse know that, hey, I'm part of this network. I'm hiring this coach. I'm hiring this therapist to help me navigate this and help me be more communicative towards you and our relationship. These outside support networks can help you in dealing with being sober in a relationship where your spouse still drinks. There's plenty of other people dealing with similar situations, so it's always nice to be a part of these groups to talk about what you're going through, to relate, to have a sense of community, and it really helps you bring that guidance and information into your relationship. Now, one of the biggest challenges is the situation to want to control your spouse's drinking. Now, I can attest to this, because when you're going through your journey and you're quitting and you're still seeing your spouse out there having a good time drinking, like, naturally your mind starts to go, why aren't they quitting? Why can't they get on the same path as me? And those thoughts are normal, but it's not healthy, because you're trying to control what they're doing. And when you try to control your partner in any situation, it's going to lead to a negative outcome. So it's important to focus on your own journey and learn to let go. Learn to let go of control. You're on your own journey, and you can't compare yourself to anyone else. There might be feelings of jealousy of why your partner can go out and do all these things still and not push it to the edge like you always did, and feel fine the next day and just live a normal life. It's natural to want your partner to quit drinking once you've become sober and you notice all the benefits that come along with being sober, how it can improve your life. But your partner's journey is their journey, and your journey is your journey. And it's important to keep that in mind when you get these thoughts of wanting to control what they're doing. You can't force someone to quit drinking. Just like someone couldn't force you to quit drinking. When I was trying time and time again to quit drinking, the writing was on the wall, but my wife never gave me any flack over quitting drinking. She never said, hey, you should quit drinking. when I was super hungover for days on end, we definitely had looks at each other that we both knew what needed to happen. But she never forced me. She never, you know, yelled at me or anything like that to quit drinking, because she knew that she couldn't force me to quit drinking. Right? We're all adults and we all make our own decisions. There's nothing you can do to say to ultimately force someone to quit. If they want to quit, they're going to quit. And it's important not to take it personally when your spouse still drinks. It doesn't mean that you're not worthy. It doesn't mean that they don't support your cause of sobriety. Everyone's relationship with alcohol is different. You know, they can show support in other ways. Maybe they limit their drinking around you, or they don't bring people over to drink. Early on in my sobriety, I would not go out on the weekends, and early on sometimes my wife would bring friends over for the after party, and in the beginning it was very rare, but they would still come over from time to time, and I'm a pretty heavy sleeper, so it didn't really bother me that much, but that rarely happens these days. So I know that she supports me no matter what, and I don't I don't look down on her negatively if she still goes out and drinks with friends. I understand how fun it is. And during your journey as a couple, during your journey on sobriety, you're going to have to find new ways to connect, right? A lot of the activities that you guys used to do together involved or were centered around drinking. Now, the good news is that this will give you an opportunity to connect in new ways. For my wife and I, we started enjoying other things that don't involve drinking. We've been hiking a lot together. We have been working out a lot together. We go to the same gym and we go to a lot of the same classes together. And we're probably, I think, maybe one of the only couples at our gym that consistently work out together. And that's great. It's super fun. It's something we connect on. We cook meals together at home. We also enjoy a lot of the same activities that we used to in the past when I drank, but I'm just sober, you know. And I find that even she still drinks, but she drinks less than when I did, right? Because when I was drinking, we start partying and we're going at it. We're having a great time, and so it really adds another level to your relationship when you guys can connect on another level without alcohol being involved. It's also very important to practice patience and compassion. Patience and compassion, not only with yourself, but also with your partner. Recognize the work that you've put in, recognize the work that they've put in, and recognize the work that you guys have both put in together on your sober journey. Navigating a relationship where you quit drinking and your partner doesn't, it's hard. It can lead to tension, it could lead to frustration, it could lead to temptation. Give yourself credit for the progress you guys have made. It's normal to feel some discomfort along the way, and try to approach your partner with empathy. They may not fully understand where you're coming from. Put yourself in their situation, right? If the roles were reversed and your partner decided to quit drinking and you were still drinking, like, think of it from that perspective. Compassionate communication will help you both adapt to the new dynamic in your relationship. Navigating a relationship where one person drinks and the other one doesn't, it's not easy, but it's definitely possible to maintain both your sobriety and your relationships. By focusing on open communication, setting clear boundaries, and finding new ways to connect, you can protect your sobriety while continuing to build a healthy relationship with your partner. If you're in a similar situation where you've quit drinking and your partner doesn't, and you'd like to share your experiences, or if you have any questions, drop a comment in the comment section below. And if you're interested in more content like this, please like and share and subscribe. And as always, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you on the next one.